years ago, we were told something big was coming. They said we would stop looking at our phones and start living inside the internet. We would wake up, put on a headset, go to work as avatars, and attend meetings in virtual offices. At lunch, we would walk on Mars. In the evening, we would dance at virtual concerts with people on the other side of the world. This vision was taken so seriously that Facebook even changed its name. So what happened? 4 years passed. $70 billion were burned. No one showed up, and the metaverse collapsed as one of the most expensive tech dreams in history. There was a time when the metaverse was supposed to be the next evolution of the internet. Mark Zuckerberg believed in it so strongly that he turned Facebook into Meta. But years later, what remains is massive financial loss and virtual worlds that almost nobody uses. Meta's Reality Labs division lost over $70 billion in just 4 years. Despite this, VR headsets failed to reach mass adoption, and the virtual worlds built around them stayed mostly empty. Eventually, investors reacted. In 2022, Meta's stock fell by more than 65%, erasing hundreds of billions of dollars in market value. But money wasn't the real problem. The real problem was the lack of users. The biggest promise of the metaverse was crowded digital spaces where millions would gather. In reality, those spaces remained empty. In 2021 and 2022, platforms like Decentraland sold virtual land for huge amounts of money. But in the years that followed, these investments turned out to be an illusion. User activity collapsed, and most virtual land became nearly worthless. Meta wasn't the only company to walk away. Disney, Microsoft, Walmart, and others quietly shut down their metaverse projects. The word metaverse itself became toxic among investors. Even Meta has largely stopped talking about it. When Apple introduced the Vision Pro, it carefully avoided using the word metaverse. The technology was impressive, but the device was expensive, heavy, and lacked a must-have use case. Sales fell far below expectations. So why did the metaverse fail? First, there was too much friction between the technology and the user. People always choose the easiest option. The metaverse required heavy headsets, isolation from the real world, and learning complex controls. When you can join a Zoom meeting with one click, few people want to attend meetings as avatars in a virtual office. Second, there was an identity problem. What did the metaverse actually offer that people truly wanted? One of its biggest promises was virtual meeting rooms. After years of screen fatigue, asking people to work in virtual offices completely misunderstood user demand. Third, there was isolation. Social media grew by connecting people. The metaverse did the opposite. It pulled users away from their physical environment and made them feel more alone. When the pandemic ended, people didn't want more screens. They wanted real experiences. And then, artificial intelligence arrived. Unlike the metaverse, AI offered immediate value with almost zero friction. You could simply open a website, ask a question, write text, fix code, or generate ideas. Tools like ChatGPT reached tens of millions of users in record time, and investment quickly shifted in that direction. That doesn't mean everything built for the metaverse was useless. Digital twins, industrial simulations, and training applications still provide real value. Virtual reality continues to be useful in education, medicine, and engineering. But the lesson is clear. Technology cannot succeed without understanding its users. The idea of "build it and they will come" failed here. The metaverse may be dead for now, but this is probably not the end. In the future, it may return in a simpler, more practical, and more organic form. Until then, empty virtual land and legless avatars will remain one of the most expensive lessons the tech world has ever learned.